As far as emotionally, I've been pretty okay. It's more of just when it was happening in the moment, I was more scared because I have 4 black brothers and a black father, obviously. And it's just scary to think that, especially in times like this, no one's really safe. So I guess just being more, just being considerate of that and, not saying, oh, you'll be fine or, oh, this, just make sure they know that it is a hard time for black people because everything out there is scary right now. So I think that's just an important word to get out there.
I completely agree because I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and that's been kind of a big place right now. And then my dad is black, and I'm scared and nervous for him just because he's an African American male, and even growing up, he taught me to keep my registration in the visor of my car so I don't have to open the glove compartment because I might be seen as I'm pulling out a weapon or something. So just little things that I know he does, or oh, we're getting followed in a store, he'll tell me that. So little things like that, it's always impacted me growing up, and it just makes me kind of nervous, especially being away from him right now. So I just hope that he's okay right now. So I think it really is important just to be mindful of how students would be affected right now in this time.
Yeah.
It has definitely affected me. I just came back actually from Washington, D.C., the Martin Luther King March on Washington. I'm repping my shirt here. And that has affected me. The first weekend of classes, I had to leave to go to a march to fight for justice for Breonna Taylor, for David McAtee, for George Floyd, and so many other people that have been killed at the hands of police officers. And I mean, of course, it's not anybody in my family or anything, but this still puts fear in me as an African American man, because I constantly leave my house wondering, am I next? Am I next? And here I'm on WKU, and of course, WKU police officers, they would never do anything like that, of course, from what I get, but we still have Bowling Green police officers. Am I next? Can I just be driving up the street, be pulled over, reach to get my ID, and be shot 7 times? Is my niece next? Is my brother next? Is my older brother next? Is my cousin next? These are questions that I'm constantly asking. My dad, he's actually been harmed by police. He hasn't been killed, but he's been physically harmed. He's been snatched out of his car, punched, kicked by police officers. So I definitely think teachers need to talk about this with their scholars. And this is serious. This is something mental. Mental illness is a real thing. That's the one big thing that I will say to teachers. Mental illness is a big thing. And just because this doesn't affect us either, I guess, locally or personally, it's still part of our culture. This is still part of what we go through as African Americans. And I mean, there's been times that I've heard about this stuff. When I saw the George Floyd video, I was not able to sleep at all. I was so disturbed. I wasn't able to sleep. So emotionally, this can be draining. Mentally, this can be draining. On top of the stresses of college, this stuff can be physically and mentally draining. And it may not seem I may seem perfectly fine here, but you all don't know. When I go home, I'm like, man, this man's just been shot in the back 7 times. What about his kids? What about this? What about that? And oftentimes, we're always trying to put the next puzzle piece in the puzzle. We're always trying to figure out, well, what happens from here? What happens from here? So I think a lot of times, too, on top of college, our minds are racing well, what about Breonna Taylor? What's going to happen with Breonna Taylor? When are they going to prosecute her? When is this man going to be unchained from a bed? He's already paralyzed. He was shot 7 times. When are they going to unchain him? Are they going to arrest these police officers? Are these police officers still on the street? What if this happens in Bowling Green? What if this happens in Louisville? What if I'm just driving up my car one day and the police just pulls me over for no reason? These are questions that are going through my head. So mentally, it's draining. Emotionally, it's draining. So sometimes, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real, I don't feel like doing my homework. I just sit in my room, I turn the TV off, I don't read a book, I don't do nothing. I just lay in my bed and I clear my mind and I meditate. So when my homework is late, of course I can't return it in. but it's just late. There's nothing wrong with missing 1 or 2 assignments. But just because I'm missing 1 or 2 assignments doesn't mean that it's not affecting my peer where they're missing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 assignments because they're so drained. So I think ultimately it just needs to be talked about. I think teachers need to check on their scholars' mental, check on their emotional standing, because what is going on is real. This is real, and it's physically draining.
It's a great question. I actually have been affected, not as terms of emotionally, but it has changed the way I go out and look at society in a way. When I'm in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, there's a lot of more police traffic going on, and I cringe. I kind of get scared just a little bit. I've never experienced that in my life, and I know that all cops are not bad and all Black people are not bad. So I want my professors to know that this is something that's been going on our entire life, and we're experiencing that, and we are on the campus of a PWI, and we're still scared. A couple of years ago, I knew that a person got called an N-word on campus. So it's like, we know that they exist. We just want equal treatment, and to know that we're going to get, if we go and tell administration that we're getting socially profiled or racism has happened to us on this campus, we want change.
Or on campus?
You said just for Black students?
Black students and students of color.
Oh, okay. So to improve our life on campus, become a part of something. Become a part of those organizations. There's a lot of organizations. I know ISAC. A lot of people think ISAC only takes Black people. ISAC takes everyone. ISAC will take anybody who wants to be involved. And I know there are plenty of other organizations on campus that'll do the same, white and Black. Like I was walking to class the other day, and there was, the Baptist Campus Ministry, and I think they said that you're welcome to come, da-da-da-da-da. They gave me an invite, they gave me, I think it was food or something, and they were like, you're welcome to come join us at any given time. And I feel like a lot of us are just like shrugging them off, but they want people to show up just as much as we want people to show up, and it really doesn't matter what color you are. I just want us to get along in a capacity to where race shouldn't even be an issue, So that's my one thing.
Any final thoughts or other comments?
Just listen to each other. That's it. Listen to each other. It'll help so much, I promise. It will, So other than that, no.
Well, thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you.
I think at WKU in general, I've noticed that some organizations are primarily white and some are primarily Black. And for me personally, I'd love to see the integration of the two, because I remember when I was a freshman, I would go to some organizations and I would be the only student of color, and which made me feel very uncomfortable. And it's almost as if they didn't even notice how that might have been an issue. And so I never went back to those organizations. And so I went to the organizations where it was predominantly Black and where I felt like I was comfortable. But I feel like if we just stay where we're comfortable, it's just gonna cause more division. So I'd personally love to see an organization where it's mixed between every race on campus, and I have yet to see that.
I think the end of what she said about the organizations and opportunities we have on campus is getting those heard more. Because I know she's a part of Student Support Services, but I had no idea what it was. So I think it's important to kind of market those organizations more, because I know there are a lot of people of color on campus that feel kind of alone because they don't see many other POCs. But just having them know that, hey, there are more people like me, or hey, there's resources I can go to help people like me. Just getting those out there, I think, is very important.
I completely agree, and putting those resources out and just make sure not to single out any student or stereotype them based on just what they look like.
I think this is great what we're doing here and getting these voices out. So that's fun.
I agree. And also in light of like, there's a lot of new like groups that are being like made. I know that the Honors College is talking about making new groups, and then just all the support groups. I think they're like a really good source just to make sure that you're okay like mentally and everything, and just to like see other people who are like you, and just to talk it out and just make sure everyone's okay.
I think it's important for everyone to get involved, even if you think, oh, I'm fine, oh, I have my friends here and there. I think it's very important for people to get involved with like-minded groups, like what she was talking about, the honors groups and stuff, because it really changes like your mindset and everything when you see other people like you with the same intent, wanting to get involved. So I think it's a very special thing that everyone should do.
Yes. I think, and I'm trying to find a way to say this, I think that it needs to be in classes more. I know that sounds weird, but we should actually get to know each other, get to know the other side. Like, I don't really know a lot about white people. I don't really know a lot about Asian people. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know a lot about African American people. But I think that we just need to embrace that we are all different. So like when we're doing our first day introductions, maybe say something like, hey, I'm African American, I'm from here, this is how my neighborhood is, just so people can understand who I am and where I come from. No, I mean, WKU has been wonderful. I love the school. But again, like most families, because I consider WKU a family, we have a lot of stuff to work on, just to help our scholars be successful in the future. Whether it's just getting to know your scholars a little more, whether it's finding out about their culture, whether it's sitting down, talking to them about the stuff going on in the world.
Just being open to the culture, open to different backgrounds. A lot of African American students on this campus are very diverse. They come from a lot of different backgrounds. And a lot of the time, you just have this perception of the person, and you don't really know the person behind the name or the color of their skin. I'm glad Western is taking the time to do this. I think that it's important for minority students to know that their voice matters, and to know that the institution that they're paying to go to school for, that they care about us.